Greetings, everybody, and welcome to my channel, All That Is. I'm so glad to be here with you today and welcome Katrice back to the show. This is, I believe, episode number 5.
I can't believe
I'll
it.
have to double check. I have a feeling it's episode number 5, but welcome to the show, Katrice.
We haven't blown ourselves up yet. It's awesome.
No. Yeah, I'm so excited for today's conversation. We have some wonderful news and a lot of excitement that's going on in Katrice's life. And as we all know, there's ups and downs and twists and turns and things that we least expect to happen in our life happens. And I guess it happens for a reason. And age is no factor, circumstances is no factor when these sort of things just come in from the universe. And so we have to embrace it. And so today we are talking about love and all of the different aspects of love. And lo and behold, Katrice is experiencing love in her life. So yay! We're going to drill down and talk about that. So again, welcome to the show, Katrice. Let's get started.
Too funny. Yeah, let's do it.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling so many feelings. I want to say aligned, very aligned within myself, right? As anybody who's been following along, I, of course, went smash and cracked my wrist open. And everybody kept saying to me, well, what do you think it means? Right. And everybody's going, it means you're supposed to slow down. And as we've already established, I am not a slow-mo old broad, and it just wasn't going to happen. But this, why did I do this to my wrist? Right. And the other day I was feeling just a little annoyed and frustrated. And so I used to do online dating, right? And if anybody knows what that's like, it's like an adventure in a million different places. But I thought, oh, well, let's see if there's anybody interesting out in cyberspace. So I go onto this site, and then this man connects with me, and I looked at him, and it was really funny because his age, he put down 120. And I went, huh. And I'm much closer to 120 than he is. But anyway, we started chit-chatting, and it's like this man is such clean, clear energy. And if I hadn't had to stop, I wouldn't have been angry and annoyed that day. And I wouldn't have opened up, because if it wasn't for this, he and I would have never connected. And it's like, wow, sometimes we really don't know what a higher meaning is going on for those parts of us that think, oh, this is a disaster. Every time we have what we think of as a disaster, it gives us time to reflect on all that is right and true and beautiful already in our world, right? And it was that
Absolutely.
moment that allowed me to just sort of let it go without any expectations. And lo and behold, it's quite interesting, you know?
Yeah, from the pain comes pleasure, right?
And it's just like, it's almost like the universe went plunk. Okay, this one will vibe on all different levels, and I don't know, for those of us out there in the world that are single and hoping to meet the one, we expect it's going to come at different times and in different ways. And all of a sudden, and I have to say, for the first time in my life, there are absolutely no red flags.
That's
And
awesome.
that's like, and I don't second guess myself about it. And so it's like, the universe has got our back, right? And the more we align with that higher vibe within us, the more we align with those higher vibes without us.
Absolutely. Wow, that's truly in alignment with, with everything that's meant to happen to you, right? And from where I see it, it's like, you went through this traumatic experience, if you will, of, having your hand out of commission. And it's like finding the gem in the dirt, right? And
Yes.
coming to the end of that suffering, if you will. And the
Mhm.
universe is saying, here you go. There was a reason why. And ironically, you know, it was because of your hand, as you said, the conversation started, right?
And I just thought of something too. It's my left arm, right? It's not just my hand I can't use. This stupid arm, I can't even scratch my head properly. But it's my divine feminine side,
Mm.
right? And I think instead of I don't need anyone, right? I'm rah, here we go. Do, 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 do. And it was going, no, really, at the general scheme of things, you don't need anyone. However, when you can um, compliment another in a relationship, everything gets amplified. Do you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
do you know what we talked about in the previous sessions? Divine
Mm-hmm.
masculine and divine feminine energies,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so that in itself is in alignment, right? So perhaps your
Completely.
feminine energy somehow needed to be healed, and that was manifesting in your physical life. And so that, even though it was painful for you to, injure your arm, it still brought about healing on a physical level and perhaps on an energetic level and even in your heart.
Oh, it
Maybe it
is.
was
It's
needing to
that
be healed in your heart as well.
because I've always had um, a doubt within me whenever I've been in a relationship. It was almost like there was that piece of me that always went, no. I even remember walking down the aisle when I got married. And in my head, I'm going, oh, are you sure you know what you're doing? How long do you really think this is going to last? I remember that thought as I was walking down the aisle to get married. Like, hello, if that
And
is,
now that doesn't exist, right? That doubt is not there with this relationship, as you just mentioned.
and it's like it's very early on in the relationship, but when you know. And it's quite interesting, actually. And he
Yeah.
doesn't live like 4,000 miles away or anything. He's right over a bridge. Hello, I'll put the
Oh,
coffee
I'm so
on.
excited for you. I'm so pleased with this news. Really, I'm so happy that this has happened to you.
I know. It is nice.
So take us through the experience if you want to, and if it's not too personal. So once you met online, what happened?
We arranged to have coffee. Was it the next day or the day after? And I remember he's saying, if you're free on Saturday, I'd love to meet for coffee. And I went, well, as a matter of fact, I am free on Saturday, dot, dot, dot. But after that, the price goes up exponentially. And I thought, oh my God. So the goofiness immediately went out, but it was perfect. It was like perfect.
It was bringing the humor into it, right?
And it was like so easy. And I mean, you know me, I have no problem talking to anyone, right?
Yeah.
But this was like, this is a kindred spirit. And when we finished coffee, he goes, like, we're both looking at our empty coffee cups, and he goes, I really want to see you again. And I went, ditto, dude. And ditto, dude. How 70-ish is that? But it was like, that was exciting. And we're figuring out
Yeah.
when we're going to get together. And we walk out of this coffee shop, and there's somebody tied a little puppy up at the thing. And both of us, without looking at each other or anything, both of us, the words out of our mouth, oh, look, it's a puppy, just like that. And I went, oh my God, this is such a kindred spirit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I started delving in. He's somebody that's got a very big online presence. He's a documentary filmmaker. And I
Okay.
thought, wow, well, let's check this dude out. Oh my God. How many people get that opportunity to really, and he's been interviewed extensively. So I got to listen to interviews and feel into his energy and what is like, I'd never met anybody or seen anybody that just projected like no hidden agendas, just total joy and almost like, I don't know how to, he loves the life that he has built for himself. And whenever he was sharing with this person that wanted to unravel the adventure that is him. And listening to him talk, I'm going, wow, this isn't anybody like you've ever brought into your world before. Oh my God. And then the next time we saw each other, we went out for a dinner, but we went out for a really sloppy dinner. And both of us had crap all over our faces and were laughing hysterically. Anyways, and then that night was lovely. And then the next time I met him, it was like, oh my God, I have to ask you some pertinent questions because I felt where we were going. And it was no to this and yes to that and blah, blah, blah. And I brought in some pretty wackadoodle people in my life. And he's just a real person who really feels that higher vibe, right? That understanding of energy and feeling into situations. And I mean, I haven't shared everything he's done, but he's fascinating. And he finds me fascinating because really, I guess I am
You
kind of
are, you
fascinated.
are.
Well, I know. So it was, yeah. So now we've only had 3 dates, but fourth is planned. And it's like doing stuff that I love to do, right? His plan, let's go for a walk in the woods, right? He's a photographer, so I'm sure he never goes anywhere with those cameras.
Yeah,
Our next date is a walk in the woods. It's like,
awesome.
yeah,
It's like ding, 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 everything is going right.
it is going right. And the man
That's so
travels,
cool.
so he's
Mhm.
not here all the time, right? Because I think we've talked about what a relationship looks like at different times in our life, right? And for me, I love love. I love adventure. I love fun. But I also need to be all by my little old self for a number of hours during my week, a number of days.
Oh, to be you, yeah.
And he travels,
So it's
when
perfect, yeah.
he's all over the place. So he'll be gone a few weeks here and a few weeks there. And that had always been an issue for other women in his world. And I'm going, dude, you have no idea how perfect this is for me.
Yeah. Well,
And
then you
so
have your own practice too, right? Like
I
you
have,
have a few
yeah,
days a week that you go off and read and stuff like that. So yeah, that's
yeah,
perfect.
I've got home people that come in. And of course, we have this is fun. I love this moment. And normally, if I wasn't wounded, I'd be at the gym 4 or 5 times a week, right? So that's been an adjustment as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just, yeah, it feels more real than anything in my life. And he's
Oh
also
my gosh,
very
I'm
in,
so thrilled to bits for you. I'm really so happy. It's like such a heart-centered energy that's happening right now. Yeah, it's so amazing.
it is heart-centered. And you know what it is? I think it's because, well, I know it's because all of us are needing to experience more love, not only around us, but within us, right? Ever
Hmm.
since COVID, that always comes into the conversation, but ever since COVID, people have had to completely reassess their relationship with the outer, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's made us go in and
And yeah.
understand how if we can't manifest that feeling of love within our own heart, how are we ever going to be able to project that out? How are we ever going to be able to bring more in? It's that openness. It's not being closed anymore. You know, God
Yeah.
knows I know so many people, men and women. I mean, face it, we've all had interesting relationships, but a lot of people go, that's it. I'm never going to do that again. And there's that hardening.
That's me.
Well, see, but that's just it. There's
Yeah.
that incredible need to be self-sufficient. Yet
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
still be self-sufficient with a complementary partner that's got
Hmm.
our back and also is self-sufficient in their own right,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And a lot of us think of of a loving relationship as being with everybody 24/7. That's not natural.
No,
Could
no.
we do it if we lived on an island with nobody else
Yeah.
around? Maybe.
Well, and we talked about this, right? There's that masculine and feminine balance, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, the feminine comes in if the masculine is taking a back seat at some point. And then the
Mm-hmm.
masculine comes forth if the feminine energy is taking a back seat at some point, right? So there's this
Mm-hmm.
incredible dance, even within your own energy, that takes place, leave
Oh,
alone
completely.
somebody else within your life, right? And so when that external person comes into your life, that dance becomes between the two of you as well as individually, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And from
completely.
what you're telling me right now, the two of you are perfectly synced within your own individual masculine and feminine energies
Mm-hmm.
to then match up
Connect.
between the two of you. Yeah, yeah. So that's awesome.
And you mentioned dance. Now, you know what a dance person I am.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I do.
So, um, I'm in my house. We'd had our time together. We'd watched a movie. He's getting ready to go home. He's gone to the bathroom, and I put on some tunes, and I'm just sort of dancing away with myself in the living room. And all of a sudden, I can feel this energy, and what it was him sliding into the room, goes like this, and we started to dance perfectly in sync. And I
Nice.
just went, oh my God.
That's so
Like,
incredible.
yeah.
I know music and dance is a big thing in your life, and so that's great that the two of you,
Yeah.
jived on that aspect as well.
Oh, it's like every aspect. It's amazing. I should stop saying that. It's not amazing. I obviously finally got aligned enough to bring that being in, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
happy he put 102 on his thing, because
Oh, I thought
really
you said 120, but 102 will
120,
work
right?
too as well. Yeah.
Whatever. It was, because it was all about because age is just irrelevant. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
No, and I
saying?
said that to you before we started off
I
too,
know.
right? I was like, age does not matter one bit.
But it's energy, it's that
Yeah.
vibration, right? That's
Yeah.
the work I do. That's everything to do with me, is that higher vibration, and being able to get up into that place and connect in with kindred spirits, right?
Yeah.
Who also
Absolutely.
have 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I
go
have
to,
to say, when we sort of force these things, if you will, into our lives, it's like almost like yearning for the right partner to come into our life, or saying, putting like a um something in brackets, if you will, and say, oh, my partner needs to be X, Y, and Z. It will never happen. And even if it
no.
does, it will not be in true alignment with what is meant for you. The
Mm-mm.
universe will give you something, but it will not be in alignment with what you truly need on a higher perspective.
And when we're
And so
looking at, go ahead.
sorry,
No, no,
so
you're,
when something like this happens to you unexpectedly, it's like you opened your heart, whether you were conscious of it or not. But when that trigger happened, like you went out and you sought this being, right? Like you went online, it was perfectly aligned. You went with an open heart.
and but you know what else too?
And
I put my profile up, and I just sat there and thought, okay, if you're out there, I don't even remember saying that. I just went, I sort of was scanning through stuff and going, oh boy, isn't this fun? And then I went, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't look too bad. And I'm going along, oh, okay, that's not too bad. And then boom, he connected. And I went, oh, he's kind of cute. And that was it. That was it. It was like, oh my God, he came. Whoa, here I am.
okay, here's a question.
Yes.
What were your thoughts when you went into that idea, if you will, of going on a dating map app? I know you said you were sort of you had
I was
time
just
to.
bored.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were bored.
bored.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'd also Um, I the three people that I spent the most time with for the last couple of years, all of them have left the city. So all of a sudden, there's, and one of them was this friend of mine, a guy friend, right? And I like having guy friends as well, right? Whether you're in a relationship or not. And so it was like I was just putting it out there. I didn't know what it was, but
Yeah.
I was open,
Yeah.
you know?
So the intention was there. Good.
Yeah, totally. I mean, why do most people go on there? I mean,
Yeah.
some people are going on. They say, how many conquests can I do this week? Really? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, swipe left or swipe right.
Yeah, it's just, and the trouble is with the world today. I sound like my dad. It's that people don't get out there and connect one on one anymore. It's
Hmm.
always, well,
Hmm.
what's the next best thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a conquest, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Constantly, and
Hmm.
never giving anything time to morph, because you're
Hmm.
always looking for that next thing,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
So when you put this
Oh, right, what was
love,
it? Yeah.
love, if you will, against a template of what you experienced before,
Hmm.
um, in terms of just not just energy, but and I'm just trying to get to the essence of my question here, and what sort of pisses people off in a way. It's like, you have certain habits, and you become set in your ways in a way,
Yes,
right? When you're
yes.
when you're older, and perhaps that's for me too.
Oh,
And so
totally.
you have like pet peeves and things like that. So in a way, are there certain things that might be like a pet peeve, if you will, that might, work against you, or that you might have, or that he might have, that might, piss you off in a way, that might have happened in your previous relationships, perhaps,
Hmm.
that really annoyed you? So I'm just trying to get to perhaps place a template between then and now and see how
Okay.
those compare.
Huh. Well, I did notice that this time when I put myself out there, and it's the same picture I've used forever, that one with that pretty dress. Anyway, blah, blah. And I'll put that out. And I noticed though, this time there was some much, how can I, if I want to say higher quality, more evolved, gentle men that were coming to me, right? As opposed to, woohoo, there's a redhead, which is what most of them did, right? So that in itself, I went, well, this is interesting, right?
Hmm.
And it's I was having actually some nice chit chats with some of them, right? And yeah, so that is much different. Last time it wasn't full experience. Let's put it that way. There was little pieces of it. So obviously, to me, that's saying I'm not just wanting riffy raff. I'm not wanting just like I didn't know what it is I really wanted. You just knew that every time I tracked in some Yahoo, it didn't really last for all that long because,
Hmm.
as I said, the cracks started to appear in the veneer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody can pretend to be anything. But me being an energy being, I was always really aware of all those things
Yeah.
that weren't in
Yeah.
alignment, right?
Yeah. And so, just from what you've told me so far, it's like you're able to see through that um,
Oh,
veil,
yeah.
if you will, right? And because this person is so open and honest and authentic, that just vibrates with your energy.
Completely. And another thing that's always, I mean, I'm a goofus. I love to laugh. I like to be
Hmm.
silly, right? And I know that that's one of the things about me that he thinks is so cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the fact that the two of us have these amazing conversations, and it seems like it's been forever. You know how those things are, but it's just such an easy way to communicate. It's
And that's important, right? Yeah.
Well, it's
Very
so
important.
important.
Yeah.
if you can't talk, I mean, face it, the older you get, if you can't have a conversation with someone, well, it's all flat. You're just sitting there flicking channels. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
being able to just sit and talk about almost anything,
yeah.
right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Catrice, I can't help but keep saying this. I'm so pleased for you. I'm so happy, really, really
Yeah.
happy. It's awesome
Yeah.
to experience this with you.
Well, it's awesome to experience it with me. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like to
No,
have
I
a
mean,
photo.
like, thank you. Thank you for sharing it, right? It's so incredible to hear these stories, and it's amazing that it's happening to you.
Really. It's like, I want to say the first time he went to kiss me, I felt like a freaking 15-year-old. I went, oh, no, no, you have to leave now. It was like so weird. And then I
Oh,
thought, no, wait a minute. That's a good thing, right? You go, wait a minute, I got to reassess this. And then, okay, where was I going with this? And then the next time I saw him, I asked some pointed questions,
yeah.
Here's a list, dude. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, hit me. Right. And there was
Mm,
no part where he was hiding anything. It's like it's what you see is what you get. He's really real. He's
that's awesome.
Yeah. And so many people walk around pretending to be something
Hmm.
other than what they are.
Yeah. What's your
Mhm.
star sign, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm an Aquarian.
And what about him? Do you know?
Um,
Not that
he's,
I know too much, but I just want to know.
he's a Pisces.
Okay.
Yeah, Aquarian and Pisces.
Aren't they both water signs?
Actually, Aquarius is an air sign,
Air sign.
even
Okay.
though we're the water bearer. It's quite interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm just trying to think. I thought of there was always Piscean men are generally they're very aware of their emotions, right? And they get really deep and they're sensitive,
And creative. You mentioned him being creative. Yeah.
unbelievably creative. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great.
And he's never been one of those guys that worked like a real job. He's always managed to do what he loves to do and
Mm.
have the money come and
So
pivot,
that's heart-centered again. Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
heart centered,
Hmm.
you know? And it's like he doesn't just look at what's right in front of him. He sees so much more. And he's a
Hmm.
photojournalist. So of course
Yeah.
he's tuning into all of that stuff, right?
Well, he's tuned into Mother Earth. That's wonderful.
Very Mother Earth.
Yeah.
He told me about this one documentary he was working on, and he was dropped from a helicopter. They take him down, and he has to jump out of this helicopter. And he was there with his film crew for 5 days and nights in this remote place. And it's like, whoa, like how many people do that? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And are able to
Wow.
dance and write
Awesome.
poetry
Yeah.
and love their family. And yeah.
Well, that brings me back to this little snippet you told me just before the show started. You talked about this pendant that he had.
Oh, yeah.
So talk about that.
So I noticed this pendant each time I saw him, but then the last time I went, so what does that pendant signify? Okay. And to him, he said it's always signified love, passion, and adventure. And think about it, right? When you're passionate about your adventure in life, it fills you with love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And love and passion together is an incredibly adventurous place to go, right? Because it
Yeah,
opens you up to everything. So I just thought
absolutely.
that was, well, just another ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
little green
Well,
flag.
that brings me back to this energy that I've written about in my book. And this is like the creator energy of
Yes.
gratitude, right?
Yes.
And that energy of gratitude encompasses all of the things that you've talked about, love, passion, adventure. Like the
Really.
creator had all of these elements of love, if you will, while bringing, this energy to fruition, of everything into fruition, right? And so when we experience it as a fractal of that energy and bring in all these components together, magic happens, and it has happened in
Totally.
your life. So it's really quite amazing when we dissect it this way, right?
And I just have to say, though, we have to be open to change, right? One of my favorite sayings is um, change is the only constant,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Everything shifts with every breath, with every moment. And
Mm-hmm.
if we get caught up in holding it tight into how it's supposed to be, it doesn't allow us to align with the higher truth
Yeah,
that's within us, right?
absolutely.
We don't find it
Yeah.
with our head. We do
No, if
not
you
find it with
define
our
it,
head.
it will not happen. If you define
Oh,
it, it will not happen. It has to
no.
be free, it has to be liberated, and then it will come back to you as if, as if like a butterfly on wings, right? Yeah.
I love that butterfly analogy too. I mean, it's all about um, transformation, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not being afraid of it. Like, you know how many times you think about something growing, right? You got to plant it deep in the dirt and it's
Yeah.
dark and it's gnarly, but there's that reaching for the light. And when you look at, when you've planted something in the ground and all of a sudden first little shoot comes out, there's an excitement. The
Mm-hmm.
idea of this new growth that's just beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't fight it. You have to allow it.
No. Okay, I'm going to read something. I've been drawn to read something to you from my
So,
book, All
okay,
That
all
Is
that
Progressing to the
is.
Fifth Dimension. Um, and hopefully it brings to fruition some of the things that we've been talking about. So I'm just going
Hmm.
to pick up just after the creation of, I guess, the initial galaxies, if you will.
Oh, okay.
So this is from the perspective of the collective of three who helped me write this book. And they are
Yay.
multi-dimensional beings. It then came about that its energies yearned for more. So it began to travel from one star system to the next, exploring each galaxy and each star system with fascination. It wondered if other energies, much like itself, existed that could explore and experience these sights like it was doing right now. It's
Hmm.
being experienced a sense of excitement with these thoughts. All that is was essentially experiencing the energy we now call love.
Uh-huh.
In its vast, expansive energies, it had a yearning to share this overwhelming energy it felt and experience within itself with another. With this thought, it deeply pondered how it might create another form, much like itself, so that it could share this energy of excitement it felt within its being.
Hmm.
All that is in this state of love and excitement sensed that it was an overwhelming energy of light.
Hmm.
This was witnessed through its own expansive vision as it moved through the many galaxies. It realized that it was leaving a trail of colors and sparkling light as it moved. This being also noticed that as its energy shifted into this now accelerated state, the colors around it changed accordingly. This new discovery became a new observance and contemplation. This being
Hmm.
felt, again, this explosive, excited state within its being. It moved from place to place, laughing with glee, seeing what took place. It then reversed itself to stillness to see what took place. It
Hmm.
noticed the polarity in how things changed with its felt emotions, and so it contemplated that there were indeed opposite sides to everything that it had created.
Oh, my whole being is vibrating with those words. It's just so it's just definitely that understanding that we're all way more than we give ourselves credit for, right?
Absolutely.
And when
Yeah,
people think, oh, I'm all alone and nobody loves me and blah, blah. Okay, we all have moments when we're down, but the more we tune in to that higher vibration, the more we realize we have more than enough to help us move to that next phase in our life.
yeah,
Those that get really, really stuck, it's that they've given up. They
absolutely.
they don't believe that there's a higher way of operating in the world. I told my son earlier, well, we were texting, and he was doing something about politics. And I went, oh my God, it just makes me want to run screaming to the hills, right? Don't talk to me. Ah! And I said, okay, look, I got to go. I says, I'm getting ready for our podcast. And he goes, I haven't really told him about it because, he doesn't usually care what I'm doing. But he goes, oh, okay, well, have fun. But whatever you do, don't get political. And I went, dude, no, 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 no. There's no politics here. We're all
Yeah.
talking about evolution and living life from a higher perspective. And he
And
sends me
love.
a text. I know. Well, I didn't even say love, but that's yeah. I'll send him
Oh,
a
that's
link
that's
to this
awesome.
one, right? Yeah, because it was so funny. We
Yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
you definitely
politics.
should. Well, if you do want to talk politics, then you should tune into my roundtable. We talk nothing but politics on that show. But let's leave that out of this show.
Yeah, but just what I'm thinking about
It's
when
a
you're talking
totally
about
different,
politics, it's the energy
yeah,
surrounding
it's a
politics.
totally different energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So does
yeah.
your son know about this new love in your life?
No. Mm-mm. I
Well,
don't.
he's going to know very soon
Yeah, probably.
if he stumbles on this podcast.
Yeah. And at times, any other time in my life, I went, what are you doing even saying anything about this? But it's you that this is not your average run of the mill connection with someone. You know it, you feel it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's too funny.
Hey, I want to talk about the painting behind you. I can
Yes.
see a whale's tail, if you will,
Oh,
or something that looks like it anyway. I'm trying to decipher it, but it's such a beautiful picture.
well, you want to know something about I've got a number of these, and it's sitting like this, but I can turn it and it'll have a completely different you'll see a lot more things in them. I remember when I first did them, um, this one woman went, "Oh my God, you could have people sit here and just dive in and bring up all these different things." And I tried it one day with this woman. I went, "Okay, look in here. What do you see? What does it say to you?" And it was amazingly healing, right? So
Yeah.
this, yeah, it's ouch, I can't move it.
Well, and it's got the shades of green, which is like very heart-centered, so it's totally appropriate for what we're talking about today.
Totally. Well, green was always one of my favorite colors anyway, right? So I don't have that much green around me anymore, but I got plants up the yin yang. So there's my green.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, totally cool.
So I just wanted to plug in as well. Last week we had such a great show. Oh, I guess the week before last week we
Yeah.
missed out on a show I guess we were both busy, but I just wanted to plug in the previous show that we had and the incredible meditation that came through from that
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 was
that
totally
gathering.
cool.
I really loved it. And we talked about tarot cards and we talked about your oracle cards and
Yeah.
all kinds of things we got into, but I just felt so it was such a beautiful energy that we ended the show on, with you
Hmm.
bringing in that meditation. I really, really loved it. And I
Yeah.
hope that our audience can tune back into that show as well and get a flavor of Katrice's meditation. It was really incredible.
Yeah. That's, it's interesting that the meditative part of me, I guess it has to be the balance, right? I started meditating when I was in the middle of a crisis, right? Trying to go, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? And I remember I went to see a hypnotherapist thinking maybe he could smack it out of my psyche. But as it turned out, no, that isn't why I'd gone to see him, right? And he led me probably through my very first meditation. And it was the first time in my life I felt that balance starting to
Mm,
happen. And
mm.
it wasn't long before I started leading these. You know, they always say you teach best what you most need to know, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for me, I needed to be able to be balanced. I needed to bring my energy down, not bring my energy down, but get more balance, I guess,
Hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm.
Because I could get really, really wired. And when I got afraid about anything that was going on, it was like, whoa, it took over and it was so uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then years, I guess it was that a few years after that, I realized that that anxiety I felt was actually some disorder, if you want to call it, in my energy pathways, right?
Hmm,
And
hmm.
understanding that, realizing that you need to be able to slow, you need to be able to open, right? A
Yeah,
lot of people think you slow down and you shut down.
yeah,
Uh-uh.
yeah.
You slow down, and then that higher part of you can open up, right?
Absolutely. No, I totally get that. I was
Mhm.
recently having a session with somebody, and she came in very upset and angry. And I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it,
Oh,
but she was just so angry at everything that was happening in her life, and angry at her circumstances, angry at her relationship, and just, trying desperately to come to terms with how she might maneuver around getting out of this situation. And so
mhm,
my session takes you through like a clearing of the chakras, right?
mhm.
And so when we started off, she said that she felt like the tension in her head. She was feeling like really heavy in the head at all of the stress that she was feeling. So I said, okay, well, let's get started. Let's not waste any more time. And so I started with my meditation. I said, but first let's intend for what you want to get out of this meditation, right?
Totally.
And so I let her do her own intention. I didn't like I asked her if she wished to speak it out loud, and if not, that was just fine. So I have no idea what her intention was. But anyway, we went through the session, and after we had finished the session, I asked her, are you still feeling the tension in your head? And she looked at me and she said, no, it's gone. And she was in a much more open, much more happy energy, if you feel, if you understand what I'm
Oh, I
saying.
know
Like,
exactly what you.
just her expression was more open. She was more at peace. Like even her words were coming across like not so confrontational. Like she was smiling, and she really opened up during that. Just it was, a 1 hour session, but during that time, it's like all of these things just sort of subsided within her energy field. And, she came into this peaceful state of mind, and she was able to physically release all of that tension within her body, within her mind. And so
Mhm.
all of this energy just subsided.
Oh, I totally know.
So it's very important for you to, first of all, intend to have that healing take place in your body. And then that meditation just kicks in and does what it needs to do, right? Within your nervous system, within your energy field.
Well, when we've got all this stuff going on, I mean, you know what it's like when you've got all these different things screaming at you, and instead of going, ah, once you get to a quiet place, if even for 5 seconds, you feel that altered reality within you. And a lot of people, especially when they're really angry, the first time they feel that, they're almost angry that they felt it. Because then they
Yeah.
realize, I can shift things within me by just deciding to do it. Now, of
Yeah.
course, if I say that to some people who are angry, that really annoys them.
Yeah.
You can't just do it. I went, well, if you don't think you can, then you won't. But
Well, they're fighting anger with anger, right?
I,
It will not happen. It's a very low vibrational energy. And so if you stay in that low vibration with more anger, you're going to bury yourself some more, right?
oh, and
Yeah.
and I wasn't always la 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 la. There was times when I was really down. And I remember what that felt like, but there's never, yeah, I couldn't imagine. There's no way I would ever be able to get that low again,
Mm.
regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you found a way to be present and to first of all understand the energies for yourself and
Hmm.
know how to get out of that situation, right? Like for
Well,
me as well, when I find myself going into that lower energy, if you feel right,
yeah,
that I feel in myself, I try to switch it up right away, like listen to music or go for a walk or go for a drive, just change the energy that
yeah.
I'm experiencing. And once you do that, it's like something clicks in your brain. It's like, no, I'm not engaging with this energy anymore, right? And so, whatever
And
it
it's being
is,
aware and
yeah,
conscious, right? A
yeah,
lot of people at the first sign that they're feeling uncomfortable, they just want to, oh no, push it away, push it away,
yeah.
push it away, as opposed to
Well, and if
going,
it's happening at night or, early in the morning, I can't obviously, leave my house and go for a drive, right? So I would just, like you said, just spend 5 seconds or 5 minutes just bringing
tuning in.
yourself into that centered energy and then just aligning your energies to those higher energies, if you will, and then that just dissipates right away.
Um, we were talking about music, right? Music is such a mood alterator. It's a complete vibrational shift. Um, I too, of course, come to clients that are got really angry at everything and everybody, right? And I've even had some going, turn that music off. I can't stand it. And it's that amazing angelic vibration
Yeah,
because that it feels uncomfortable within them because
yeah,
they've been on that rah, train for so long, right?
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. I think we're not going to do any talking. I'll put you on the table and we'll just shift something here. Ah.
Well, I feel bad now that I had to ask you to turn off the music the last time, only because it was
Oh,
interfering with your voice and I couldn't like
oh, no problem. Because
balance the two.
no,
But
no.
no, I totally get it. I totally get it. Like music, it again, it brings in that higher vibrational frequency. But mind you, we talked about this in the past. The frequency of music has also shifted, and
Oh,
it's an
yeah.
inversion in some cases. So you have to be careful to the vibrational frequency of the music that you are listening to. So it's the vibration of music that is aligned with the
Actually,
earth at 432, and the inversion is at 440 hertz.
right.
So be careful which way you turn. And it might be interesting for you to check in with your new boyfriend to ask him if he's aware of this.
Well, we haven't, oh my God, we've talked about so much, but he totally understands vibrations
Mhm.
completely and totally, right?
No, but I'm talking about the inversion of music.
Uh, I don't know if he's really like, who knows? I don't know about that. But I know like he's not. I was just gonna say at the gym sometimes the kids will be playing through the loudspeakers like a
Hmm.
heavy metal thing. I can only handle it for so long. And I
Yeah.
finally have to go, oh, you guys, can you be nice to Grandma Cat and shift the tunes? Because
Yeah.
it just, your whole body, for me, it's like I'm
Yeah.
being attacked energetically. And
Yeah.
think how many people go to concerts like that, thousands of them. And it's
Yeah.
just such angry, raw noise. And
Yeah.
sort of go, What is the matter with people?
Have you heard of Dr. Emoto?
Yeah,
He's a Japanese scientist
the guy
who
with the
did
water,
these
and
experiments with water. Have we talked about that before?
I'm sure at one point we might have, but it's a good one to bring up anyway. Talk about
Yeah, because our body is what, how much is it?
90%.
90%, right? Water. So we are water beings. So when you experience sound at that level, of course, it's not going to align with your body. It's
Oh,
going to
but
reject it, right? Yeah. And that's why we were attacked in this way, because these beings, these higher beings that brought in this inversion understood that we were susceptible to this frequency. And so, that was one way of attacking us unconsciously by bringing in these inverted frequencies, right? And so
mm,
we didn't have a choice really. But yeah, when you talk about music, yes, that absolutely impacts our energy.
it impacts every energy. I remember an experiment we did. I want to say if my daughter was doing this at school, but there was a couple of plants, right? And they're sitting side by side, right? And they're both exactly at the same level. Well, you moved one plant into a place where there wasn't any noise at all. And then you had another one that had music around,
Mm,
uplifting music. And you
yeah,
watch this plant with the music growing so much quicker and healthier and fuller
yeah,
than the energy over here that had
yeah,
no energy to
yeah,
connect with it,
yeah.
right? But
Well, there's a similar experiment with the plants too, where people, like you said, music is one, but then talking lovingly to the plant
yeah,
versus saying harsh words to the plant. And there's that same, polarity between the two. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and I can just see certain people that I know and they're rolling their eyes talking about that. But it's everybody has their own reality, right? You have yours, I have mine, but we have that combined desire to help other people lift up to that highest place so that
Absolutely.
you're not stuck. I always say stuck in 3D. You can be stuck in 3D and feel you're living in hell, or you can be traipsing through 3D, feeling all joyful and sitting in heaven. I mean, that takes it a little higher, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just allowing yourself to be open to that highest vibration available.
Well,
And
progressing to the fifth dimension, that's what my book is all about.
yeah,
So you're
totally.
essentially living in the third dimension, but you're building that bridge into the fifth dimension, which is a higher vibrational state of
Hmm.
your being, even though
And it's
you're
not like you have to leave your body.
no,
There's,
no, but you're dancing into that energy of light, and which is what a light being is vibrating at, which
Yeah,
is, the fifth dimension and beyond is the vibrational field of a light being. So,
yeah.
when you get into those higher vibrational states, it's as if you are dipping your toes into that vibrational field, if you will, that is a higher vibrational energy of a
Mm.
light being, right? So it's like you're planning for your future self in that higher energy state, right?
Um, I'm just trying to think, planning for our future self. Okay. I remember reading a book a long time ago called Time is an Illusion, right? Which means that, we might have memories of things from the past, have dreams or intentions for the future. But at the end of the day, everything is this continuum, right? We're just
Mm-hmm.
in one part of it. So when
Mm-hmm.
we talk about when you said planning for your future, it's like our future is right now,
Yeah.
you know, and
No,
it's like,
absolutely. It's
but
just a perception. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
that's what it is. It's a perception. That's that what we see in front of us, it is a projection. What's beyond what we're looking at, right? Like that I don't know if I've recited that poem, but that poem called Beyond the Illusions. And it's all about realizing who you are in every moment
Mm-hmm.
and aligning in with that, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is where you are right now. Well, here's a line. This is where you are right now, not behind nor up ahead. So settle into present time, for
Yeah,
it's here that you've been led to work
yeah,
through issues from the past,
yeah,
to get clear on what's to come. So settle into present time. The real work has just begun.
yeah.
And it's so true. We're constantly moving and evolving. It's like there's not a start and an end. It's just that I love the word continuum, right?
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
just goes around. And sometimes we veer more off to this side, sometimes we veer off to the other side. But
Well, and that's the dance of polarity, right? That we experience
mhm,
here in the third dimensional field, right? But if
totally.
you are doing it consciously, then you are in that present moment, right? Whether you're
Mhm.
going into the negative or whether you're going into the positive, you're
Yeah,
doing it from a state of consciousness, from that present moment, right? And
right,
so
right.
that's in alignment with your higher self, with your soul creator connection.
Totally. And it completely alters the trajectory of your life when you allow
Absolutely.
yourself to realize that you can be creating and shifting in every breath. It's like I know I look at people that say they've lived in the same house for 50 years, and I think, wow, what would that be like? To find a space and just stay there
Yeah.
forever.
Well, it's a practice in itself, right? That's probably what their soul needed, right? They might have been a warrior, if you will, in a previous life, or,
That's true, and never having
doing
stability.
battles and not having that peace or presence in their soul, and they were craving that. And so they
Mm.
designed that lifetime to be in one place, right?
Just as I said that, I have not seen this one woman in years. I should check out if they're even still on the planet. You never know. The older you get, you go, I wonder if they're okay, right?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Hmm.
Totally. Ah.
Says the woman who's just fallen in love. I still can't get over it. I'm so excited for you.
Well, it's just, yeah, it's
Hey, you mentioned something about a poem. Is that in your immediate reality, or do you have to go look for it?
well, I recited part of it. I could do the whole thing. There's like one or two,
No,
there's
no,
three or
with
four poems that I've written.
not you, but you said something about um this guy giving you a poem, or
Oh,
or he read you a poem or something like that.
actually, on top of other things, is he writes poetry. And I think that's what it said on his profile, something about my poetry brings me pleasure or something. I have to go look at it. But yeah, he has these poems he's written, and he's given them to people to make them into songs.
Oh, nice.
So, um, yeah, he
Well,
liked
that's another alignment for you because you love poetry.
totally, and
Yeah.
writing and the music and yeah. So yeah, he goes, he said, I was just thinking of you. Here's a poem I wrote made into a song. And he
Oh,
sends it to me. And I'm listening to this and looking at this beautiful visual and going, oh my God. Like that just works so for me. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought it?
Awesome. So we're going to leave it at that and end
Okay,
on this
yeah.
happy note.
Yeah, the
We
sun's coming out again.
well, it's really cloudy on my end, so I guess the storm is going to hit me first
Coming,
before it comes to you.
yeah, it's coming from, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it looks like the light is coming like from the south, so it's much lighter. I'm looking out this window.
Okay. Yeah, it suddenly got dark over here, so we
Oh
might
yeah.
get the rain before you do.
Mm, whatever. All right,
I
hon.
love
It
the
was
rain
lovely
though.
talking to you
Yeah,
again.
me too. I'm so glad that we had this conversation. It was
Totally.
very uplifting. It felt so good in my heart to have this conversation. So thank you for doing that and
Yay.
bringing this love into my life too. And just by hearing the story of your love.
Totally.
So thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. To
Okie
our
doke.
listeners, thank you so much. Put a like on this video if this story moved you. Send us your comments. Send us your cheers to Catrice for finding love. Namaste,
Okay, hon.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye, hon. See you.